The views and opinions expressed in this program do not necessarily represent those of Natural Bridges Media or KSQD's staff, volunteers, or underwriters.
Hello and welcome to Talk of the Bay. I am your host, Len B.A., and I am very pleased to have in the studio with me live Vachu Adu. Vachu Adu is an eclectic project of ancient instrumentation and sound. The musical performing duo consisting of Machu, Didgeridoos, and DelMar offer live immersive musical performances. Based in Tucson, Arizona, Vachu Adu induces a sound journey that is empowered with professional artisanship and soothing to the soul. Amongst the many exquisite handmade instruments, you will hear our world-class Didgeridoos, indigenous flutes, handpans, as well as singing bowls, percussion, and multilingual voices. Machu and Venus will be performing live this coming Sunday, June 30th, at the Breath and Oneness Yoga Studio in Capitola from 2 to 4 p.m. And we will talk about that more later. But first, I want to welcome you, Venus and Machu, to the studios here live at KSQD.
Thank you, Len.
Great to have you here.
Thank you, Len. We're really honored to be here today.
Well, you've brought a few instruments into the studio. I wonder if you could start maybe by introducing what you've brought in for us.
Sure thing. So I'm a maker of super high-end didgeridoos for the last 16 years. Used to make them right here in Santa Cruz and many other places, obviously now Arizona. So I have a mesquite tree didgeridoo and also a yew tree didgeridoo, and this is what they sound like.
Oh, they only sound like that when you're playing it, Machu.
We also have a beautiful collection of flutes, mainly Native American flutes, and here's a little sample of one of our flutes in F sharp.
And another style of flute, the ancient Anasazi, otherwise known as the Pueblo flute, possibly the oldest instrument on the planet.
Wow, I love the tone of that. That's beautiful.
And then our last piece, some might be familiar with. This is called the hung drum, or more modernly known as the handpan. So this is kind of like the UFO spaceship-looking steel drum. And it sounds like this.
Yeah. Wow, that's great. And you have played. I understand you just played at a dance retreat here in the Santa Cruz Mountains, and you played at a solstice weekend-long event just a couple weeks ago. You've performed at a lot of festivals and festival-like spaces. So I wanted to ask you a little bit about the inspiration behind your music and how your music has become such kind of a part of the festival experience.
a good question. Well, Venus and I have been playing music together and loving together for the last 3 years or so. For me personally, I've been weaving together these more ancient instruments into a musical and what some call sound healing performance. I've been doing that for about 16 years now, and I just got discovered. I got discovered early on. I was actually on America's Got Talent back in, what was that, 2011? 2011.
All right.
And then I went off and I played Burning Man with Alex Gray and his space, the painter.
Wow. Yeah, I love Alex
and then
Gray's
one thing
work.
led to the next, and there was actually a really big hunger for this soothing style of music. Even if it's intense, which, you know, I've always tended to be a more intense didgeridoo performer, and I've just arrived at this place of, I want to collaborate with other artists, and I meet them at different festivals, events, conventions, and Venus came along and really added the special soothing flavor on top.
Yeah, in my experience, I feel like within different festival communities, there's been a need for more sonically balanced places. And just working with these instruments that are indigenous at the core of so many world cultures has always spoken to me. And I think it really reaches people on a deep level too, regardless of where your ancestry comes from. There's this bigger soul void that is filled by some of these sounds. And when I started my journey with exploring these instruments and these sounds about 3 years ago, it really fed me at a deeper level, at a cellular level, and I could feel it transforming the people and the places that we would perform at. Gong sanctuaries at big festivals like Lightning in a Bottle, and even smaller events, and the reflections we would get from the people. I feel like it's definitely been a big part of the journey to offer these sounds and for people to receive them, and a really important new emerging part of festival culture.
Yeah. Machu, do you want to add anything to that?
Maybe perhaps where I think it's going. I really believe that there's a reemergence of the organic within the musical artistic reality that we're living in. You know, we're living in a worldwide culture now that is so just apps dominated and oversaturated with, you know, produced electronic music, and now with AI and everything, it's we don't even know what's real anymore. And so, you know, being a musician with some of the oldest instruments on the planet that take quite a lot of practice and a lot of skill to develop, you know, it's really, I've seen that it draws people in and really captivates them. It's more than just the wow factor of like, wow, that person can do that. They can play the didgeridoo. They can play that impossible to play flute. It's like, yeah, and you can too. It just takes time and practice. It's not pushing a couple buttons on a computer or
right.
something else.
But
and
more
so
organic, as you said.
It also really speaks to us somewhere inside. Maybe it's the blood. Maybe it's the cells. Maybe it's the DNA. Maybe it's the ancient collective memory. I don't know what it is, but it speaks to people, even people you wouldn't expect.
Yeah.
You know, maybe there's a couple listeners here.
So maybe you could let it speak a little bit for our listeners. And for anybody who might have just tuned in, my guests are Venus DelMar and Machu Didgeridoo of Vachu Adu. And they're going to be doing a sound healing concert at Breath and Oneness this coming Sunday in Capitola from 2 to 4 p.m. And they're right here in the studio and ready to give us a flavor for some of the music that they make.
Thank you, Len. Here we go, everybody.
Vachu Adu, ladies and gentlemen, right here live in the KSQD studio. Wow. I don't know. I think I'm too affected to speak anymore. Let me see. All right. Well, we have about 11 more minutes. So in the end of that, there, Venus, you were playing a double flute. It has two tones.
Yes, it is a Native American double drone flute. And it's a newer style of playing the Native American flute. A few makers decided to add an extra tube so that way that there's two sounds at once.
Yeah. And do both have changeable tones, or is it just one side?
So one side just has a couple notes, and the other side is the traditional 6 holes for your fingers.
All right, which is the Native American flute kind of standard.
Mm-hmm.
And meanwhile, Machu is playing the handpan as we continue, and which is beautiful. And I'm inclined to just let you go right back into it and bring us some more sound. And I'm just going to sit back and try and keep the balance good and not say a word. So
Thank you, Len.
This is a great way to sanctify our studio space here, listening to Venus and Machu of Vachu Adu. And we've just got about a minute and a half left. You've got a show coming up at Breath and Oneness in Capitola this coming Sunday. Is that right? Can you tell us a little bit about that?
We sure do. We have played at this yoga studio several times before. It's beautiful. It's located in Capitola. We're playing on this Sunday, 2 to 4. And we are offering a beautiful ancient elemental sound journey. You just experienced a flavor of that with several of our songs here in the radio show. So we're really excited to bring our magic and our music over in Breath and Oneness this Sunday.
Wonderful. And I understand you can get tickets at breathandoneness.com. That's all spelled out, breathandoneness.com. And that's amazing. This Sunday afternoon at 2. Well, it's been wonderful to have you in the studio. Actually, if you have we have a few seconds left. If there's anything you want to say to leave with our listeners, go ahead.
We'll leave you with some sounds.
I invite all of us just to take a nice deep breath.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for coming into the studio. It's been a joy to hear you and to see you again. And I hope that the next time you're coming through, we can do this some more.
Thank you, Len.